They say love is blind, but for Sophia Dorothea, love was straight up cruel. She was young, beautiful, and full of life, but instead of a fairy tale romance, she got forced into marriage with a man so repulsive that even his own subjects called him Pig Snout. And no, I'm not even exaggerating. That was his actual nickname. But let's rewind. Sophia Dorothea was the daughter of the Duke of Brunswick-Lüneburg, and like most high-status women of the time, she had about zero say in her love life. The Duke had big ambitions, and when an opportunity arose to marry his daughter to George, the future heir to not just one, but potentially two thrones, he jumped at the chance. Because, obviously, what's more important than securing power? Certainly not his daughter's sanity, happiness, or, will to live. And Sophia Dorothea? Oh, she was not having it. The moment she found out about the betrothal, Sis literally fainted. She reportedly declared, "I will not marry the Pig Snout." And honestly, can you blame her? Imagine being told you have to marry a man nicknamed Pig Snout. You'd probably pass out too. But unfortunately, fainting didn't get her out of it, because in 1682, she was shoved down the aisle anyway. Spoiler alert, it was a disaster from day one. The marriage went from bad to absolute dumpster fire real quick. There were loud fights, screaming matches, and the kind of toxic drama that would make reality TV producers foam at the mouth. And when I say violent, I mean violent. Their last big argument ended with George literally throttling Sophia Dorothea, so badly that servants had to pull him off her. If that's not domestic violence 101, I don't know what is. Then enters Count Philip Christoph von Königsmarck. Tall, dashing, Swedish, not Pig Snout. He arrived at court, and suddenly, Sophia Dorothea had a reason to smile for the first time in years. And Königsmarck? Oh, he wasn't exactly new to the game either. Before he set his sights on Sophia Dorothea, he had a little thing with George's mistress, Countess Platen. Messy, right? And it's about to get worse. Because when Sophia Dorothea and Königsmarck met, fireworks. The chemistry was instant, the attraction undeniable, and before long, they were all over each other. And in classic forbidden romance fashion, they weren't even trying to be subtle about it. They wrote love letters, had secret meetings, and let's just say, the walls had to have been talking. Now, if this were just a royal affair, it would be scandalous enough. But Sophia Dorothea and Königsmarck weren't just sneaking around for fun, they were planning to run away together. Far away. Away from George, away from court, away from Pig Snout's suffocating grip. But the night Königsmarck was supposed to whisk her away, something went terribly wrong. He never showed up. At first, she thought he was just late. Then, as the hours passed, panic set in. And then, silence. Königsmarck had disappeared. Completely. And the rumors? Oh, they were juicy. Some whispered that Countess Platen, the ex-fling, tipped off George and wanted revenge. Others said the court conspired to eliminate him because a scandal of this scale? Not a good look for the future king. And then there's the most chilling theory of all. Right outside Sophia Dorothea's bedchamber, new floorboards were mysteriously installed overnight. And guess what? Nobody ever saw Königsmarck again. Coincidence? I think not. Now, let's pause here for a moment. Because if this is true, then this wasn't just about getting rid of Königsmarck. This was about breaking Sophia Dorothea. This was full-blown psychological torture, making sure she lived in a never-ending nightmare. Making sure she knew she would never escape. Sophia Dorothea was devastated, but her nightmare was far from over. George was livid. The humiliation was too much for his fragile male ego, so he did what any scorned, power-hungry, vindictive husband would do. He divorced her, took away her children, and locked her away in a tiny castle, the Alden House. And that's where she stayed, for the rest of her life. Meanwhile, Pig Snout got exactly what he wanted. He became King George I of England, completely erasing his wife, her pain, and their entire messy history from his grand new royal narrative. No apology, no closure, just a man who played the game and won, while the woman he destroyed faded into the background. And that, my friends, is the royal betrayal of Sophia Dorothea. But if you're looking for a little closure, here it is. Her son still became the next King George II, and he hated his father. Never forgave him for keeping him away from his own mother. Even when she died, George refused to let anyone mourn her publicly. Her coffin, covered with sand, left in the cellar of Alden House for almost a year, until someone finally took pity and arranged for her burial in her family's crypt and cell. But when George II took the throne, he made sure she wasn't forgotten. He honored her memory and put the blame exactly where it belonged, on his father, the man who ruined her life. So in the end, Sophia Dorothea still got the last laugh. Sure, neither of them were winning any loyalty awards, but while she paid for her affair with a lifetime of isolation, her cheating, abusive husband, he may have won in his lifetime, but her son, his heir, despised him. And honestly, that's the kind of poetic justice. Let's be real, Sophia Dorothea wasn't perfect. But did she deserve this? Absolutely not. She was forced into a marriage she never wanted, trapped in a life she never chose, and punished for trying to take control of her own fate. If that's not a royal injustice, I don't know what is.